Welcome to week 12 of the Tim and Chuck Show, presented by Batt and Stevens Body Shop. I am Tim McDonough, joined by my esteemed colleague, Chuck Martinez-Brandon. Chuck, we got wings, we got pizza, we got football. What more do you need?
It doesn't get any better than this, as they say.
Yeah, we're talking playoffs again, week 12.
Man, I know, and there's still a lot of teams in it, a lot of great games on tap. Boy, it just keeps getting better and better.
Well, before we talk about that, Chuck, we've got to show some of the video that Ethan got last week at the Patrick Henry-Tenora playoff game. Okay, now we've got some great stuff here. Let's start with first of all, a big thank you to the cheerleaders and student section at Patrick Henry for that welcome.
That's right. You can't ever say that the Patriots don't come in force and ready to go on Friday.
Oh, they were loud and in charge. That was great. Thank you. All right, now let's get to some video. All right, now we've got highlights. The game attracted people from all over. We got some Holgate students there. We got one who's doing a little dance. We got one talking to a Patrick Henry girl.
Oh man, I don't know. that's how you start, a war there.
Well, Henry County, what do you got to do, right? I mean, so we've got
Fields and McCoy.
We've got Tenora fans jumping up and down with the cheerleaders and spinning again right round. Yeah,
right round.
Here it is in fast motion.
Ooh. Like a top.
Yeah, like a top. Okay, now Chuck, we got to talk about the horse. Okay, now we've got a young man in the stands wearing a horse head. His friends just messing with him. He's grabbing on it.
A horse is a horse. Of
course. Looks in the mask. Finally, just takes it off.
Yeah, he'd had enough.
Enough of the horse. All right, so Patrick Henry, they did get a win last week. What do they do when they win? They throw the powder. They do the LBJ.
Yep.
They look like they were having some fun.
Oh yeah, it's always better when you're winning. But
well, that's right.
They've been winning a lot this year,
yeah,
so they're having fun.
That's for sure. Now, all year long we've been bringing you film that Ethan has been catching. How about us catching Ethan on film?
How you like that, Ethan?
He had no idea.
Nope. Now he knows how everybody else feels.
Yeah, he's like, come on, I need you to say this. I need you to say that. He's out there and he's in charge.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Ethan. We had to turn the tables on you.
That's right.
Now, Chuck, we have some video of Patrick Henry coach Bill Inselman doing some talking about Tenora's Derek Smith. Before Coach Inselman talks about him, what do you have to say about this young man?
Well, Derek, he's one of the best linemen in this whole part of the state, maybe the entire state. And as an Ayersville guy, we hated it because he grew up out there going to school at Ayersville with all our guys, and then he moved north of the river, and then he was against us for all those years. But what makes Derek great is he's big, he's strong, but more importantly, he can move, he's got great feet, just a great kid and a great athlete. It's too bad that kids like that they have to graduate and move on, because you really enjoy competing against these type of guys.
Well, here's what Bill Inselman had to say about him and their next opponent.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they've got some tremendous defensive linemen. That Derek Smith is as good as I've seen. Okay, he's tremendous. He was all over, and obviously they had other kids doing it as well. And we got to watch film. One thing about football, I don't care if you win or lose, you got to learn and you got to try to improve and keep working. And these kids are great at that. So we're going to watch the film tomorrow, see what we got to do better, because I assume we're playing Liberty Center, and I guarantee you, you talk about good run defense. Liberty's got good run defense too.
Bill Inselman, high praise as well for Derek.
Right.
Yeah, and he did mention a little team there called Liberty Center that they're going to be playing this week.
Yeah, something about that going on Friday.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, we do have two Varsity Club Apparel Company games of the week. Let's talk first, Chuck, about your Ayersville Pilots. You are the defensive coordinator there, taking on Bucyrus Winford. You guys come in 11-0. Winford is 11-0. You're both state ranked. How about this matchup?
Boy, it takes me back. We've played them once before in the playoffs in recent memory, and this is a different squad for them and us both. We do some different things, but for Winford, you got to worry about Zach Hoffman, their quarterback. Not a very big kid. He's only like 5'8", 165 pounds, but when this kid decides to run, he's going to take it upfield, and he is fast. And he can distribute the ball as well. He's got, about 1,400 yards passing, and the thing that stands out to me is that he doesn't have one receiver in their league's top 10 receiving yardage-wise. So that tells me that he spreads it around, shares the wealth, and he's really dangerous. We really have to try to stop him and slow that offense down.
Well, you talked about him. They beat Gitzenberg last week 22-6. Let's flip it over. What will you guys have to do offensively against their defense?
Offensively, we have to worry, first of all, about their front line. They got big, strong dudes up front that just like to bull rush and wreak havoc in the backfield, so we really have to worry about that. And then we have to, same way for us, we have to worry about distributing the ball to all our playmakers, guys like R.J. Addington and Jake Miller and Casey Williams and Ethan Schlochter and all those guys, Mikey McGuire. We have to get everybody involved and just hope that we can just keep rolling on all cylinders.
Well, you didn't mention Dawson Dales, Chuck. I know that you said you have to worry about Zach. Dawson's coming up off a performance where he was involved in every one of your touchdowns last week.
Oh,
they're going to have to slow him down too.
Yeah, you know, Dawson's a different cat. He's only got one gear and it's full bore. And when he's on offense, I love it because he plays quarterback like a linebacker, which as a linebacker coach, you got to love. But if you don't account for Dawson, he will find a way to beat you.
Well, that is a Division 6 Region 22 matchup Friday night at Findlay on turf. Should be a good one. Now let's stay in that same region. We talked about it just a minute ago. Patrick Henry 11-0, number 3 in the state. Liberty Center 9-2. PH got him 22-14 back during the regular season. Rex would love to turn the tables again. He's done it before in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and one of the hardest things to do in high school football is play the same team twice, especially when the game was that close the first time around. You know each other well. You've probably got every game tape on each school. You know, you've seen all 11 of their games. It's hard to do the same thing twice and beat a team that you're that familiar with twice.
Well, there's such a buzz in Henry County about this game. That is Friday night at Napoleon at 7:30. Both teams love to run the football. Patrick Henry's Donnie Johnson went over 2,000 yards. Zach Carpenter from Liberty Center is leading the way. I think he scored all of their touchdowns last week in their win over Colonel Crawford. You mentioned Patrick Henry beat Tenora. What's going to be the key?
Well, you talked about a running game. I mean, you look at the numbers, those two guys carry the ball a lot. So who can ever not stop but limit the other team's running game, I think you're going to have the upper hand there. And then it's going to come down to somebody else who's going to have to make plays. You know, you're going to need somebody, a wide receiver or somebody up front or a group of guys up front to really make plays and bear down and get after it to help out those running games that you know both teams are going to key on.
Well, the fun thing is that the Patrick Henry Liberty Center winner is going to get the Ayersville Bucyrus Winford winner, so it should be great. Now, Chuck, before we get out of here, we got some other playoff matchups that we need to mention. Saturday night, Hicksville, GMC, they're still alive. They're at Defiance's Fred J. Brown Stadium, 7 o'clock. They take on 10-1 Macomb, ranked number 3 in the state. Yep. Hicksville and Macomb, that should be a good one. Macomb's got that high-flying offense.
That's right.
Hicksville, they've got balance.
Yeah, you know, and Macomb's the beast in that region right now, and Hicksville really has their work cut out for them. But what Hicksville's been able to do is make adjustments at halftime and come back and score a lot of points in the second half, and that's been a big key for them all year long.
Well, that's a good one. We've got Division 4, Region 14 Friday night. We've got Lewistown, Indian Lake at 11-0, taking on 10-1 Ottawa Glandorf at Wapakoneta. That's 7:30. And then Saturday night, Division 5, Region 18, Swanton, 10-1. Number 8 in the state taking on number 5, Creston Norway, and also 10-1. Mike Vickers has that team going again in the playoffs.
It really does. You know, they had some miscues in the second half. Last week, they could have put the team away early, but when you've got the athletes and the guys up front that Swanton has, man, you've really got to play well to limit them.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to all these games and talking about it again next week.
Right.
But now, Chuck, let's get into something we call the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week.
Right.
What do we got this week, Chuck? I mean, first of all, what do they say about it each and every week?
You know, Tim, for 11 weeks now, we say there's collisions and little hits every Friday and Saturday night. But there's only one Rose Insurance Collision of the Week.
Break it down for us, Chuck.
Hey, coming from that Tenora Patrick Henry game, we've got a little swing pass to Patrick Henry's Brock Gherkin, and unfortunately for him, Tenora's Brendan Dingus, linebacker, he loves to fly sideline to sideline and just hand out the wood, and here he goes, decleating another offensive player, an unwilling offensive player for the hit of the week.
Decleater is exactly the way you want to say that, Chuck. What a hit. That is your Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. Now, coming from that same game, we have your Jacobs Meats Play of the Week. All right, this is early in the game. It's a 6-0 game. Patrick Henry's got the lead. We've got Tenora quarterback Spencer Gieske. He's under pressure on a 4th down play. He tries to get the ball downfield to Jacob Dravis, but Patrick Henry defender Mason Fintel leaps high in the air and says, "Not so fast, my friend." Right. Knocks it down, and for good measure, he tackles him too.
Yeah, do it all.
Stops the drive. Patrick Henry goes down, scores, and they go on to win 39-0.
Big win, big plays.
Yeah. That's your Jacobs Meats Play of the Week. Now, as always, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. It'll flash down here somewhere. It's all good. And Chuck, before we dig in, Any words of wisdom this week?
Oh yeah, this is more of a short commentary. You know, I read some very disparaging things from a playoff game at Wapakoneta last week, where some fans and some people did some not so nice things. So just remember that sportsmanship is not always just for the players.
See you next week.